Welcome, Hare Krishna. Welcome to the chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, Dhyan Yoga, or the Yoga of Meditation. In the previous chapter, chapter 5, Krishna ended with the supreme peace formula, showing us how inner peace comes from understanding the Supreme Lord's role as an ultimate proprietor, benefactor, and friend. Now, in chapter 6, Krishna takes us deeper into the heart of yoga practice. Here, yoga isn't about just postures or breathing exercises. It's about union with the divine through discipline, self control, and meditation. Krishna will reveal who is the true yogi, how such a person lives, and the step by step process to meditate effectively. We will learn how to balance our worldly duties while maintaining focus on the Supreme and discover why a yogi is considered higher than the ascetic, the scholar, or the ritual performer. By the end of this chapter, Krishna will crown the yogi who engages in devotion as the highest of all. So let's begin our journey into Dhyan Yoga, the path that unites discipline, devotion, and deep meditation. At the end of chapter 5, Krishna gives the brief glimpse of into a very disciplined spiritual path, the system of Ashtanga Yoga. Now, what is Ashtanga Yoga? It's not just sitting quietly in meditation for a few minutes. It is a strict, regulated, and highly focused regime lived by an ascetic yogi. In chapter 6, Krishna opens up this topic in full. He describes the complete 8-stage path of Ashtanga Yoga, the disciplines, the processes, and the stages from the very beginning to the stage of ultimate perfection. But here's the key point. Krishna is not simply promoting this as the way. In fact, he shows us its impracticality for most people in today's age, where life is filled with temptation, distraction, and constant demands. And that's why he concludes that the easiest and the highest path of self-realization is Bhakti Yoga, the devotion to the Supreme. In this chapter, we'll learn the components of Ashtanga Yoga, understand its initial and perfected stages, and finally discover Krishna's definition of the topmost yogi. Now, to make it easier to remember the key teachings of chapter 6, we've condensed it into a simple acronym, EASY. Why easy? Because while the discipline of the yoga seems very difficult, Krishna's ultimate teaching in this chapter is about making spiritual progress accessible to everyone. Each letter in EASY captures a core theme. E, enemy or a friend, your mind can be your greatest supporter or your biggest obstacle. Ashtanga Yoga, the eightfold path that Krishna explains in detail. S, success or failure, how to remain balanced no matter the outcome. Y, yogi, Krishna conclusion on who is the greatest yogi of all time. So let's dive into each part of this easy and see how Krishna makes the path to self-realization truly easy. Enemy or friend. Krishna opens this chapter with a powerful truth. Renunciation and yoga are essentially the same. In verse 1 and 2, he explains that the real renunciate is not someone who simply gives up work or lives in isolation, but the one who performs their duty without attachment, staying connected to the Supreme. Then in verse 3 and 4, Krishna described the two stages of Ashtanga Yoga. Yoga Rurukshu, the beginning stage, where practitioner follows the first 5 limbs, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, and Pratyahar. And Yoga Rudha, The next stage, the stage of perfection, where one advances to dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, deep meditation leading to complete absorption in the Supreme. And in verse 5 and 6, the focus shift to the mind. The mind, Krishna says, can be our best enemy or our best friend, a worst enemy or a best friend. A controlled mind helps us make wise, healthy, spiritual choices, guiding us towards peace and God. But an uncontrolled mind will agitate us, mislead us, entangle us in lust, anger, and greed, pulling us away from our highest nature. And finally, in verse 7 to 9, Krishna paints a beautiful picture of a perfected yogi. Such a person remains steady in all situations, winter or summer, happiness or distress, honor or dishonor. They are satisfied within, seeing pebbles and gold with the same equal vision, and treating all living beings equally, regardless of the status or background. But the first step in making the mind our friend is the discipline and attachment and detachment. Without that, even the most advanced yoga techniques won't lead to lasting peace. Ashtanga Yoga, one of the most effective ways to control the mind, Krishna explains, is through the process of Ashtanga Yoga, the eightfold path, which includes Dhyan Yoga or meditation. And this is not a casual practice. It is ancient, highly disciplined method that yogis of bygone ages followed with great determination. Krishna describes how such a yogi would live in seclusion, away from distractions, practicing celibacy, and following strict regulations for eating and sleeping, sitting in a perfected erect posture. The yogi would focus his consciousness on Supreme Soul within, maintaining complete stillness and silence for years, a lifestyle requiring immense willpower and focus. And what Arjuna hears is he can't help but express his astonishment. He says, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, oh Krishna, the mind is so restless. Controlling it is controlling it is more difficult than controlling the wind. And isn't that true for us as well? We've all experienced how stubborn the mind can be, darting from one thought to another, resisting stillness. But Krishna assures Arjuna that, and all of us, that disciplining the mind is possible. But the secret lies in two things. What are those? Abhyasa, consistent practice, and vairagya, detachment from distractions. With these two, abhyasa and vairagya, practice and detachment, with these two, even the wildest mind can be tamed and directed towards the divine. Arjuna now raises a heartfelt question, a question many spiritual seekers probably asked at some point. He says, Oh Krishna, what happens to that yogi who sincerely begins the spiritual path but cannot attain perfection? What will be his fate? Oh, this is where the success and failure comes. Krishna reassures Arjuna with great compassion. Such a person, he says, is never lost, neither in this world nor in the next. Their sincere effort is never wasted, and they can never be overcome by evil. If a yogi practices for some time but falls away, Krishna explains they first go to the heavenly realm, the Swargaloka, to enjoy the celestial pleasures for many, many years. Then they return to earth to take birth in one of the two types of families, either in a Shuchinam, a pure and righteous family, or in a Shrimatam, a wealthy household with all the comforts. where life's necessities are easily met, freeing the person to focus on spiritual growth. And what about the advanced yogi who has practiced for a long time in previous lives? Such a soul is born into the family of transcendentalists, where right from the childhood they are surrounded by spiritual opportunities. You may recall the story of Bharat Maharaj, whose spiritual journey spanned 3 lifetimes, illustrating exactly how Krishna nurtures his devotees' progress over lifetimes. In all these cases, the yogi resumes their spiritual practice from where they left off, naturally drawn to the Vedic yogic principles. They progress steadily, and after many years or even many lifetimes of persistent practice, they finally attain the ultimate goal, which is union with the divine. Why yogi? After describing the entire Ashtanga Yoga process, its discipline, its focus, its challenges, Krishna now gives Arjuna the conclusion. He says, Arjuna, among all yogis, whether they are great tapasvis who perform austerities, jnanis who pursue knowledge, or karam yogis engage in selfless action, the Ashtanga Yoga stands above them. But there is someone even higher than that. And then comes the beautiful verse. Yoginam api sarvesham matkate natantaram atmanam shraddhavan bhajteo mam same yukta tamo matah. Of all the yogis, the one who with deep faith, shraddhavan, always think of me, bhajteo mam, within his heart, who engages in loving devotional service to me, that person is the most intimately united with me. And that is my opinion of Arjuna. Krishna is saying the topmost yogi is not just the one who meditates in a secluded forest or controls his breath perfectly. It is the one whose mind and heart are always absorbed in him, who serves him with love and faith. And so, after explaining the difficult process of Dhyan and Ashtanga Yoga, Krishna offers a simple and joyful path to us in this age, which is Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion. In Kali Yuga, the easiest and the most powerful practice of Bhakti Yoga is mantra meditation, simply chanting the holy name of the Lord. Let's do this together. Join me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By chanting sincerely, anyone from any place, any background, any stage of life can reach spiritual perfection and taste the happiness described in this chapter. Krishna's message is clear. The highest yogi is the one who loves, remembers, and serves him always. Before we end chapter 6, let's take a step back and look at the big picture. Krishna has described different yogic paths: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, each designed to take us closer to him. But here's the truth. These paths can be long, steep, and filled with challenges. In our age, with so many distractions and temptation, the most effective, joyful, and direct route to the Supreme is Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of love and devotion. Think of it like climbing a mountain in this picture. Some paths are like winding, rocky, and exhausting, but bhakti is like a golden staircase straight to the summit. It's not a shortcut to these in the sense of less effort. It still requires sincerity, discipline, and heart, but it's the most natural and the sweetest way. because it engages not just our body and mind, but our very soul. Bhakti connects us to Krishna here and now. Whether we are at home, at work, or sitting quietly in meditation, the essence: remember Him, serve Him, and chant His holy names. And that is where the Krishna is gently guiding Arjuna and all of us as he prepares to reveal the highest yogi in the final verses. So, dear friends, we have now journeyed through the sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Dhyan Yoga, the path of meditation. We saw how Krishna explained the process of controlling the mind through Ashtanga Yoga, the stages of progression, the destiny of an unsuccessful yogi, and finally, who is the topmost yogi in his eyes. Krishna concludes that with beautiful and powerful truth. Out of all the yogis, the one who abides in him, who thinks of him constantly, serve him with love and faith, that person is the dearest and the most perfect yogi. And this, my friends, is nothing but Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion. And in the last sloka, Krishna has given us the glimpse of this supreme process. But here is the exciting part. In the next six chapters, chapter 7 to 12, he's gonna open the treasure chest of Bhakti Yoga, revealing its depth, beauty, and transformative power. These chapters will help us understand not only how to develop love for God, but also how to make that love steady, strong, and all absorbing. So, in our next video, we'll step into chapter 7, Jnana Vignan Yoga, where Krishna will explain the knowledge of himself, knowledge of the absolute in full, and how knowing him completely changes our life forever. It's going to be profound, it's going to be personal, and it's going to be the start of our most beautiful journey in the Gita. That's it for me now. Hare Krishna.